The island of Sodor was abuzz with excitement as Christmas approached. Snow had blanketed the island, turning it into a winter wonderland. With more work than ever, it kept Sir Topham Hatt's engines busier each day. On the morning of Christmas Eve, Sir Topham Hatt gathered the engines at Tidmouth Sheds for an important announcement. All right, listen up, everyone. I have very special jobs for all of you, he began, looking around the shed. What would that be, sir? Asked Thomas. Well, every year, one of our engines is chosen to take a very important train to the North Pole, explained Sir Topham Hatt. The North Pole? Quizzed James. I thought that place was just a myth. Oh no, it's as real as you and I are, James, smiled Sir Topham Hatt. You see, whenever this holiday rolls around, I've made it a yearly tradition to thank Santa for all of the joyful contributions he makes to spread joy and warmth. That's why I've started a special charter to the North Pole. And this year, that honored tradition goes to Gordon! Gordon's eyes sparkled with pride, and he beamed in excitement. The North Pole, sir? Really? Indeed, Gordon. You'll be pulling the Polar Nor'Wester, a special passenger train full of children from all over Sodor who will visit Santa's workshop. This is an important journey, one that requires speed, strength, and most importantly, a big heart, explained Sir Topham Hatt. A big heart? Gordon scoffed playfully. Why, I'm the fastest and strongest engine on all of Sodor. Of course I'm perfect for the job. Henry chuckled softly. Just remember, Gordon, this journey is as much about the Christmas spirit as it is about strength. Oh, and one more thing, called Sir Topham Hatt. There's bound to be a lot of snow on the track, so make sure you take your snowplow with you. I'll get on that right away, sir, whistled Gordon. All throughout the day, Gordon felt like his boiler would burst from the anticipation. His paintwork was polished till it sparkled like the fresh snow, while the workmen fitted his snowplow to him. That evening, as snowflakes twirled in the air, Gordon pulled into Knapford Station, where the Polar Nor'Wester was waiting. It was a magical sight. Children bundled up in coats and scarves and boarded the train, their faces filled with wonder. As they boarded, station staff were loading boxes full of treats and drinks to give out to the kids during their trip. The platform was alive with cheer and the sounds of laughter. Soon the clock struck the hour, the last door banged, and the guard blew his whistle.
All aboard!
Away we go, old boy, called the driver. Hurry, hurry, hurry! Good luck on your journey, Gordon, called Thomas. Time felt like it was standing still as Gordon thundered down the snowy tracks, his headlamp shining brightly. The journey was beautiful but challenging, with snow piling up on the tracks and frost covering the trees like delicate lace. All the while the children were laughing and singing in the coaches, some of them enjoying delicious cookies and hot cocoa as thick as melted chocolate bars. Taking delight in this, Gordon charged on, determined to keep his passengers comfortable and happy. I must make sure everyone has a memorable Christmas, but how could I do so? He asked himself. As Gordon continued on, he saw things he'd never seen before, such as the tracks passing through hills and valleys as if it were a roller coaster, or crossing a vast lake of ice known as the Great Polar Ice Cap. His driver slowed him down, feeling cautious about crossing this new territory. Oh, great. What else could go wrong? Grumbled Gordon. A little while later, Gordon's driver thought she saw something on the tracks ahead. Whoa, Gordon, she called out, applying the brakes. What on earth is going on? Exclaimed Gordon. No sooner had he said that, the light from his lamps illuminated an animal ahead of him. Oh, great gears! Well, how about that? It's a herd of caribou, chuckled the fireman after Gordon had come to a stop.
Caribou crossing!
I'd say that herd has got to be about 100,000, maybe even 1 million, added the driver. It's going to take a long time for them to clear the track. Well, that's a fine how do you do, muttered Gordon. How are we supposed to get through? Patience, old friend. These creatures are just a part of the magic of the North Pole, she said, patting the side of his cab. Let's just wait a bit. They'll pass. So Gordon waited, watching the majestic caribou slowly but gracefully crossing the tracks, their breath visible in the crisp winter air. The children peered out from the windows, gasping in wonder at the sight of the massive herd illuminated by the moonlight. As the last of the caribou wandered off, Gordon's driver gave him the all clear. All right, Gordon, we're good to go. With a cheerful blast of his whistle, Gordon began to pick up speed once more, determined to make up for lost time. The polar nor'wester charged ahead through snowy forests and frosty fields until the landscape began to change. The trees became fewer and shorter, replaced by vast stretches of glittering snow under the starlit sky. There it is! That must be the North Pole. As Gordon pulled into the station, he could hardly believe his eyes. The platform was bustling with workmen cheerfully waving and welcoming the train. Christmas decorations adorned every inch of the station, from strings of lights to colorful ornaments, ribbons, and wreaths. There were even a few huge factories in the adjacent town and a massive clock tower at the center, ticking down the minutes until midnight. The children poured out of the coaches, their faces lighting up in amazement as they took in the spectacle. Some of the workers began handing out candy canes and small toys, while others guided the children towards a grand workshop nearby, where Santa himself was waiting. Gordon watched them go, a warm feeling spreading through his boiler. Yet, as much as he enjoyed the sight, something in him felt incomplete. For all the effort he'd put into the journey, he couldn't help but wonder if he was really part of this Christmas magic. Just then, he heard the chuffing of another steam engine. Turning his gaze, he was surprised to see an engine he didn't recognize approaching from the other side of the station. She was a small but elegant engine with a shape similar to Edward, painted a deep festive red with gold trimmings that gleamed in the glow of the station lights, and the number 1225 on her tender. A nameplate on her cab read Noelle. Well, hello there, she said warmly. You must be Gordon, Sir Topham Hatt's top-link engine from Sodor? Why, yes I am, replied Gordon proudly. And you must be, Noelle? That's right, I help keep the North Pole's railway network running, making sure that Santa's deliveries go off without a hitch, she explained with a twinkle in her eye. And it looks like you did a wonderful job bringing all these kids here. Gordon blushed slightly, but looking down, feeling unsure. I did do my best, but if I'm honest with you, Noelle, I don't know if I'm truly understanding what this Christmas is all about. Noelle gave him a gentle smile. Christmas isn't just about presents and decorations, Gordon, she explained. It's about bringing joy and warmth to others, making them feel loved and cared for. And from what I've seen tonight, you've done just that. Gordon pondered her words, feeling something inside him shift. You know, I suppose I never thought of it that way, he admitted. Noelle smiled softly at this. You've carried the laughter and excitement of those children across miles and miles of snow, through obstacles and delays. The spirit of Christmas was alive in their smiles and songs, and you helped make that happen. Gordon's face softened as he realized the truth in her words. He wasn't just carrying passengers. He was carrying joy, hope, and wonder, just as much a part of the Christmas spirit as Santa Claus himself. Just then, a familiar, hearty laugh filled the air. Santa appeared on the platform, waving at the children and the engines alike. Ho, 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 ho! Well done, Gordon, Santa called, his voice rich with warmth. You've brought more than passengers to the North Pole tonight. You've brought the true spirit of Christmas. Like I've said once before, the true spirit of Christmas lies in your heart. Gordon beamed, his boiler swelling with pride and happiness. Thank you, sir. I think I finally understand what this holiday is really about. Noelle whistled cheerfully. Now come on, Gordon, it's time for the grand Christmas Eve procession. Every year we parade through the North Pole, and this year you'll lead us. With a gleeful whistle, Gordon took his place at the head of the procession. With Noelle coupled up between him and the train, he proudly led the festive parade, his steam blending with the starlit sky as they chuffed through the magical village. The children laughed and cheered, their voices filling the air as Gordon realized that he too was a part of something bigger, a warmth and joy that only Christmas could bring. As the clock struck midnight and the North Pole's bells rang out across the snowy landscape, and after Santa's sleigh had taken off into the crisp night air, Gordon felt truly fulfilled, his heart aglow with the magic of Christmas, and he knew he'd carry that feeling with him back to Sodor for all the Christmases to come. The morning of Christmas Day was peaceful on the island of Sodor. A gentle snowfall dusted the landscape, and a calm settled over the railway as the engines began to stir, still feeling the warmth of the holiday cheer from the night before. Back at Tidmouth Sheds, the engines were all eagerly awaiting Gordon's return. They had heard tales of his incredible journey to the North Pole and were excited to hear about it firsthand. Thomas was especially curious, his eyes shining with anticipation as he glanced down the tracks. Do you think he met Santa? Percy asked, his face full of wonder. I'll bet he got to see all sorts of magical things, added Emily with a smile. At last, they heard a familiar whistle in the distance, and soon enough, Gordon rolled in, looking more content than ever. His blue paint glistened as if he had brought back a bit of the North Pole's magic within him. The engines whistled with excitement, greeting their friend with cheers and laughter. Welcome back, Gordon, called Thomas. Oh, do tell us everything, James urged, his eyes wide with curiosity. Did you get to meet Santa Claus? Was it as grand as you'd imagined? Gordon chuckled, a warm look in his eyes. Why, yes. I actually did get to meet Santa, and it was more magical than I could have imagined, he explained. But it wasn't just the North Pole that made it special. It was the children, their excitement, and the joy we shared on the journey. The engines listened intently as Gordon described the snowy landscapes, the enchanting lights of the North Pole Station, his meeting with Noelle, and the grand procession through Santa's village. But what he remembered most, he had told them, was the feeling of carrying so much happiness to the children and how it reminded him of what Christmas is really about. Percy's eyes sparkled. "That sounds wonderful, Gordon. I wish I could have been there." "We all do," Thomas agreed, "but it sounds like you brought a bit of that Christmas spirit back to us." "Indeed, little Thomas," Gordon said with a smile. "And I learned something important on this journey, that Christmas isn't just about the gifts or twinkling lights or fancy decorations. It's about bringing joy to others, especially to those who need it the most." The engines fell into a thoughtful silence, absorbing Gordon's words. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived, smiling warmly as he approached Gordon. "Well done, Gordon. You've made Sodor proud and brought the Christmas spirit to all who needed it." "Thank you, sir," Gordon replied, humbled. Sir Topham Hatt then turned to the other engines. "And next Christmas, who knows? Perhaps it'll be one of you taking the Polar Nor'wester to the North Pole." The engines gasped in excitement, their imaginations running wild with the thought of embarking on their own magical Christmas journey someday. As the engines got back to work, Gordon watched his friends with a newfound warmth in his boiler. He'd been to the North Pole, met Santa Claus himself, and carried the joy of Christmas across the snowy tracks. But perhaps the greatest gift of all was coming home to share that joy with his friends. As the snow continued to fall gently over Sodor, Gordon knew that the spirit of Christmas would live on in their hearts, bringing warmth and cheer to the island. Not just for this season, but all year long. And with that thought, he let out a happy, contented whistle, feeling truly at home. Merry Christmas, everyone, and may all of your Christmases be merry and bright.
Children sleeping, snow is softly falling. Dreams are calling, like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. When it seems the magic slipped away, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move quickly to their journey's end. Destinations are where we begin again. Ships go sailing far across the sea. Trusting starlight to get where they need to be. When it seems that we have lost our way, we find ourselves again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. Just believe. Just believe.